Anybody here tonight need Spanish translation services? Everybody speak English okay? Because we are missing our translator. Hands up, nobody needs a translator tonight? Great, thank you. That problem solved.
Although in 96. Until now, but I think that's 25 years later.
A drug test.
Yeah.
Random, every year.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started a little bit late here. We're hoping one more commissioner would show up, and it doesn't look like he's going to be here. So let's go ahead and get started on our Tuesday, January 19th, 2016 Planning Commission meeting. Anyone addressing the Planning Commission is asked to fill out a yellow speaker card and leave it at the podium for recording purposes. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. And we're not going to have translation services tonight. It looks like we won't be needing them. And unfortunately, we're not going to have that available to us tonight. And let's go ahead and move to roll call.
Corley,
Here.
Jenkins, Kammer, here. Rivera,
Here.
Sarmiento, Gonzalez,
Here.
Dana.
Here. Okay, let's move to the Pledge of Allegiance. Looks like I will be leading it again. That must be popular. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God. Okay, we're going to have an opportunity now for anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the Planning Commission, address us on any issue tonight that will not be on the agenda. Don't see any coming forward. I'm going to go ahead and move to the commission and allow any of the commissioners that have any oral remarks tonight. We'll start with Nick. Anything, Nick?
I just hope everyone had happy holidays and new year. Hopefully there's a lot of new things that'll be coming before us, so I'm just looking forward to another productive year.
Thank you. Anna, anything tonight for us?
No.
Okay. Marty?
I think the only thing I want to bring up is I saw a correspondence about our meetings being streamed live on the internet now. So if anybody's out there watching us on the internet, welcome.
Thank you. Aurelio?
No.
Okay. I would just like to say I think tonight might be my last full night as the chair, and I want to thank the commission for this past year. It's been a great experience. I really want to thank Nick for nominating me and Aurelio for filling in for me a couple times. We didn't always agree on everything all year, but we agreed with each other. and it was very nice to see the respect between each other that we have up here, the respect that I often see for the staff, and I would like to thank the staff for the past year, and just the ability to disagree and still move forward and be able to come up with decisions. I know you care so much about the community, that's why you're up here, and I really appreciate your time and effort this past year, and it's been great working with you, so thank you. Okay, let's move on to the consent agenda, which has just recently been completed for us here. Do we have anybody that would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda? Welcome, Dobie. Need a motion to approve the last meeting's minutes?
I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes.
Second?
Do we have anybody from the general public that would like to comment on the consent agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to roll call.
We have a discussion on this?
You'd like to pull an item?
Yeah, well, I guess from my understanding, obviously the police officer's statement was taken word per word per word per word on the minutes. And I can't recall exactly if he said all these words that's been written down or if he turned in some sort of a written report. Also, there's a missing the motion that was made by Mr. Corley that was not passed. He had originally made a motion to pool just for cultivation.
Can we approve it with those changes, or?
Yes, you
Okay.
can.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like-
And then also when I made mine, because I mean mine only says, you know, with changes, but I had specific changes that I mentioned, and if we're gonna go word per word as the peace officer said I think I should at least have the same right of what I stated should be written down.
We can incorporate that, that's not a problem.
Okay, so that way it's, you know, clear.
Right,
We
yeah,
just
no, I
didn't-
mean, we
We didn't
had,
fly this by and the
No, we
police
had
officer
this-
had the whole say in the meeting. Because reading these minutes, everybody said something really brief, even, you know.
yeah,
staff
and just
did-
the police department requested, they had submitted a written thing, and they requested to put that in the minutes, so that's,
Oh, okay, yeah, because I
that's
started
what.
reading this and I'm going, I remember Tim saying.
Yeah,
that.
no, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's how,
And-
that's how
and-
that got in there. So anyway, we'd be happy to incorporate the changes that were directed, that we have those down, so that's not a problem. So we'll make those modifications.
Yeah,
and-
just so they reflect what
yeah,
actually happened.
not a problem.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for pointing that out. Dobie?
Mr. Chair, in the minutes on approving the 5.2 at the last meeting, on the second page of those minutes, it refers to the clusters property. Toward the top of that page, I think clusters is the name of a family,
Yeah, that they're the ones who own the property.
and I don't know if
Behind-
you'd say, I don't know if there's a project there, but I think it's the property, the clusters. But is there a pending project?
No,
for
no, there
clusters?
wasn't. There was just a discussion of that, has anything submitted on the clusters property? And there hadn't been, so that's why it was mentioned. But the clusters is the people who own that property.
If we want it. Another question I had, Keith, who would I call in Public Works about the signal proposed at Ohlone and Beach Street?
Maria Esther Rodriguez, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is that still going, I mean, is
Yes.
that?
Yeah, it should be under construction in May. It's going out to bid, so, yeah.
Is there, I guess a traffic survey has shown a considerable delay in getting out?
No, it was just part of all of the three major subdivisions had money, and there was an assessment district that had the money for it.
I see.
And the delay was the Moreno Petroleum
Right.
project had direct access across there, and so we worked with Moreno to try and get a project that didn't interfere with that intersection anymore, and that's done, so then we can move forward. So that's why it's moving forward. It was always planned as part of the original subdivisions out there.
I see. Okay, because, well, I'll call Maria about it and
Sure.
ask her for her insights on it. Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Welcome, Jenny. Thank you. Anybody have any more comments on the agenda or any changes they'd like to make? Seeing none, I believe we approved it, correct?
Yeah, with the modifications.
Okay. All right, let's move to the public hearings then. 5.1, a public hearing to consider an application for a special use permit with,
Excuse me, we didn't go, we stopped.
We didn't have the roll call.
oh, we didn't have a roll.
No, it was introduced and seconded, and we need a roll call.
Okay, we'll have a roll call on the agenda, on the consent agenda with the following changes by Aurelio and Dobie.
Corley?
Yes.
Jenkins?
Yes?
Cammer?
Yes.
Rivera?
Yes?
Sarmiento?
Yes.
Gonzalez?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes. Approved. Let's move to 5.1. A public hearing to consider an application for a special use permit with environmental review for the establishment of a 506 square foot retail cafe for a commercial coffee roaster at 125 Hanger Way, space 270, filed by Hidden Fortress Coffee Roasting applicant. Staff presentation, please.
Thank you, Chair Dana. Members of the commission, my name's Susie Merriam. I'm a planner with the Community Development Department. As you indicated in your introduction, this is a special use permit application to allow a small coffee shop and deli as part of a coffee roasting business at 125 Hanger Way. According to the Watsonville Municipal Code in the Industrial Park Zoning District, who's standing there? Oh, okay.
2 hours.
My presentation only two and a half hours. Now, special use permit is required to allow retail businesses in the industrial park zoning district, and the retail portion of a business can only be 20% of the total floor area dedicated to the business, and it has to be ancillary to the main business. And obviously, this case, it's a coffee roasting company. So just to look at the overall site, this is at the Strawberry Business Park, which is pretty much fully occupied at this point. It was an industrial condominium development that was built, I believe, around 2004. Just to look at the tenant space, these are kind of sideways looking. This is the first floor up at the top. It's got main entrance in the front. This area right here is what's proposed for the coffee shop deli. There is a restroom. There's a door that goes into the back warehouse / coffee roasting area. And then upstairs, which goes to a mezzanine area, which is an office. The total tenant space is approximately 2,640 square feet. And the deli coffee shop area would make up about 19% of the total floor area. So again, they're looking to establish the coffee shop. They're going to build out the front portion as the coffee shop and deli. They're going to have prepackaged foods. There's not going to actually be any food preparation at the site, so they're not having a commercial kitchen or anything like that. As far as parking goes, retail restaurant area or the coffee shop has a very high parking demand. It's one space per every 100 square feet of floor area. So in this case, the coffee shop requires 5 parking spaces. There's a total of 135 parking spaces on the property. And with the existing tenants out there, which include Water Street Stereo and Freedom Bakery, the total parking requirement for all the tenants right now is about 60. There's 135 parking spaces provided on the site, and therefore the parking requirement is met for this project. So with that, the proposed coffee shop at the Space 270 at 125 Hanger Way meets all requirements of the Watsonville Municipal Code. The coffee shop is ancillary to the existing coffee roasting company that's going to be going in there as a principally permitted use. It meets the parking requirements, and staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve the project as conditioned. And this concludes my report.
Thank you, Susie. Any questions for Susie?
Yeah, I just have one, and it's just for clarification. On the printouts, the attachments that you guys gave us, it says, and I understood it when I read it, but just the print on it, it says ingress plan for second floor, and it shows the cafe and the warehouse. And then it says ingress plan for second floor, and it shows the office. And so I was confused just for a little bit, but
That's right. Little typo. One of those has to be the first floor.
okay.
And it's the one with the coffee shop.
Any other questions? I guess just the one that I have is just that the only reason this is before us is because in this particular area, in order to do retail, it must come before us. That's the only reason it's
Yes.
here?
Yes.
Okay. All right, the applicant here this evening? Welcome.
My name's Amelia Loftus, and I own Hidden Fortress Coffee Roasting. And we're trying to expand our business from a cottage food based in North Monterey County, where we roast the coffee at our 3.5 acre parcel under cottage food at our farm and sell at farmers markets. And that's, as you can imagine, very labor intensive, and it's not a good environment to bring in staff. So we signed a lease last fall, and we've started the planning process to open a roasting operation, and cafe will help bring in revenue to make it all work.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant this evening? Dobie?
How large will the new coffee roasters be that you'll be using at this location?
Ultimately, we hope to bring in a 10-kilo roaster, which is in the industry considered kind of small. We don't have plans to be like a nationally distributed brand. We really want to focus on serving our own community. Right now, our roaster is 2 pounds.
That's pretty small.
Hence the labor-intensive part. Initially, because of the big jump up in cost, we plan to bring the small roaster over to Hangar Way and operate that and possibly install a second one of the same size. With the larger roasters, we have researched it's required to put in an afterburner and change the gas plumbing pipe size, and those projects require more funds than we have right now. But the cafe will help us get to that point where we can afford to do that. We want to do it properly so we don't have to go back and fix anything down the road.
And how many varieties of coffee might you be offering?
We actually have a pretty good selection already. Everything is organic. It's sourced through brokers in the Bay Area. We currently have about 10 single origin coffees. That means coffee from one single plantation or cooperative. And we also do about 5 house blends. So about 15 altogether.
Thank you.
Jenny?
For the deli that you're proposing to have, where will you prepare the food?
Well, I don't know where the word deli came in, honestly, because what we propose to do for food are simple grab-and-go kinds of snacks that people would expect at a coffee shop, like pastries, energy bars. Probably the most elaborate thing we propose to serve are, heat and eat oatmeal cups, just quick breakfast items. But as far as like sandwiches and things, we're not going there.
One quick question. Just out of curiosity, how long does it take to roast the coffee?
A single batch is about a 20-minute process. So it's a quick turnover, which is why it's even possible for me to get a business to this point with a 2-pound roaster. But in the summer, we do 4 farmers markets a week, and we sell to a few shops like Second Street Cafe here in town. And to supply the demand at peak season, I'm roasting about 6 hours a day, in addition to doing 4 farmers markets a week. So last summer, it was about an 80-hour work week, and that I can't do more than that. So maxed out the capacity, basically.
Thank you.
Just one question. Will you have the beans? I assume that at the coffee shop, the retail business, you will have the coffee in cups to go, but you will have the beans available as well?
Absolutely.
For people? Okay.
It'll be our showroom for our product. And because we do farmers markets, we do have a existing customer base. And some of those folks would be interested in stopping by and picking up a bag of coffee.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Great. Well, thank you very much for that presentation.
Thank you.
We're going to open this up to a public hearing. This is an opportunity for anybody in the audience that would like to comment on this particular case to come forward and speak at the podium. Any of the 4 of you like to do that? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the commission for a motion and some discussion. Gilby?
Susie and Keith, remind me, Freedom Bakery has a location there where they manufacture and have a retail shop.
Yes.
Is there any other retail establishment there in the?
In Water Street Stereo, they.
Have a bit.
Okay, yeah.
There was a dry cleaner that also went in there that was going to have a little, retail, but I don't know if they've actually opened.
I see.
That was several years ago.
Perhaps, Amelia, are you going to offer the cookies from, I think they make cookies at Freedom Bakery down the block from you? Possible?
Yeah, possibly. I like the idea of working with.
Oh, right. Right. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody like to put a motion forward?
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
I second it.
Any discussion? Let's go to roll call.
Corley?
Yes.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Cammer?
Yes.
Rivera?
Yes?
Sarmiento?
Yes.
Yes.
Gonzalez? Dana?
Yes. Passes. Let's move to 5.2.
Wish you the best.
Good luck. A public hearing to consider an application for a special use permit with environmental review for the establishment of an auto body repair facility at 317 West Beach Street, filed by Jaime Rodriguez, the applicant. Staff presentation, please. In a moment. Is the applicant, are you the applicant this evening? Great, okay.
Hey, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Thank you, Chair Dana, members of the commission, Susie Merriam again. Okay, let me open this. Bright colors for the new year. Enjoy. So the applicant, Jaime Rodriguez, has been before you at least once in the past couple years. He's had a business, an auto body repair business out on Freedom Boulevard. And this last year, he relocated to 317 West Beach Street, and he submitted a special use permit application to be allowed to stay there. So the Watsonville Municipal Code requires a special use permit to be approved by the Planning Commission for any auto repair related businesses that wish to locate in the general industrial zoning district, which is why we're here tonight. So the existing site is at the corner of Pine Street and West Beach Street. As you can see on your screen, it's actually this large piece here that includes sort of retail, more retail-related businesses facing Beach Street. And then these businesses, or the buildings in the back, have more heavy industrial users with, pretty much no retail component to them. This is a sketch of the floor plan of the tenant space. So you get oriented here on this side to the left of your screen. It would be Beach Street. They've got about 6 parking spaces dedicated to the business on Beach Street. Then they've also got parking at the rear. This is generally just a big shop space. It's got a roll-up door and a man door. At the back of the building, it's got a man door at the front, a small office and storage, and then a small restroom as well. Painting of vehicles at this point are proposed to be done in an adjacent shop building in one of the back buildings. The applicant is looking to purchase that and relocate it into his shop. He's aware, he's done this before, that he needs a building permit in order to relocate that into the shop. And he will come in with, the project is being conditioned to require that he come in for a separate building permit if and when he purchases the spray booth and moves it over. But for now, he's just going to use the adjacent one. The Watsonville Municipal Code requires that tenant spaces up to 3,000 square feet provide 5 off-street parking spaces. This is a 3,000 square foot tenant area. He's got 6 spaces in the front and then additional parking in the back. So he meets the parking requirement. The project is being conditioned that all cars that are being worked on that are non-operational be stored within the tenant space at night and during non-operating hours, just to keep the area clean and not cluttered. With that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the application as it meets all requirements of the Watsonville Municipal Code. And that concludes my staff report.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Susie on the report?
I just have one quick question. When did the applicant decide to file for a special use permit? Did the city ask him to, or did he come forward?
The applicant came in and applied in November.
And how long has he been at that location?
You will have to ask him. I believe it was in the fall.
And he also had a business somewhere else, correct?
Yes, he relocated.
Okay.
Anybody else? Any questions for Susie? Toby?
I'm curious about the sentence on page 3 of the staff report. At the top, all cars that are being worked on are required to be stored within the buildings. Now, does that mean that those that are physically being worked upon, I mean, in terms of mechanical or bodywork activity?
All work has to be done inside the building. No
And
work
those
can be done outside.
Okay, and those cars that are not being actually worked upon can be left outside?
As long as they're operational, yes.
I see, operational. Okay. Because I've noticed that at what used to be called WAB, down near the corner of Airport and Freedom, that at night, all the cars are gone. I mean, during the day, there are just dozens of them out there, and I guess they've put them in a yard or inside or in the back, and so I was just, but during the day, there are lots of cars out there waiting for the
Right.
services and so on.
I
and so
would
forth.
guess generally for security reasons, they would want to get those in the building or secured anyway.
But as long as they're operational, they can be left out and
Yes.
not being worked upon, physically worked upon, so.
Yes.
Thank you for that clarification.
In regards to the spray booth,
Yes.
location where it's at, currently is permitted to have it already? He's
Yes,
had it
yes.
For a while?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we've had spray booths in the other building for many, many years.
So there's already a spray booth there, and that's the one he's taking. It's already a spray booth, or it's just a building?
Yeah, it's, God, I'm trying to remember what the guy does. This is literally like 10 years ago that it came to the planning commission. Trying to think. Well, actually, just ask the applicant.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, we have any other?
Well, and I asked it in a sense because,
Yeah.
and it's going to go back to the applicant. Was that his spray booth from his last location? Did he relocate it into another building that had a permit already for a spray booth?
We can ask
No.
him. Jenny, you have a question?
Yes, and not so much about this applicant, but the business on Freedom Boulevard that he's moving from, or he moved from, is that still an auto repair, or is that vacant for other type of business?
We have not seen an application for his portion. There were 2 auto repair businesses out there in a space that used to be occupied by just one. So I'm not sure if the other auto repair business is just taking over the, you can ask the applicant.
Anybody else? Okay. So we've got some time set aside for the applicant. Would the applicant like to make a presentation for us? Welcome.
My name's Jaime Rodriguez, and I'm the owner of JBS Collision. I'm here to answer all your questions.
So this is auto body. You don't really do mechanic work. It's
No, just
you're
auto body,
body.
auto body and paint. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So we had some questions. Anyone to relay the questions they had before that we didn't know the answers to for the applicant? I guess on your past business and so on?
I'll go ahead and ask.
Okay.
So the business that you moved from, is that still an operating business by a partner, or are you still part of that business?
I'm no longer part of that business at that location. I just moved the business over to West Beach location. So I haven't really closed it down yet, like as far as with my city permit, because I wanted to be sure that this location is going to get approved. So I'm no longer there right now.
So there won't be an auto repair,
On Freedom,
auto paint on
no.
Freedom, closed down completely?
Yeah,
Okay.
But it exists right now.
still exists.
So it's still painting cars. and-
But it still exists, but I'm not there.
It still exists, so there's a different owner is what you're saying?
Um,
Or you're just not physically there?
I'm just not physically there anymore.
Okay. But you still own that business on Freedom Boulevard?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. I'm still the owner. It's still like licensed in Freedom Boulevard, but I'm not paying rent anymore. Or I'm completely out of there already.
Yeah, you vacated the.
I'm still paying my business license through the
that's-
city.
Yeah, but you vacated the premises.
Vacated the place. The reason why is because when I first moved there, after you guys approved me, the mechanic shop, I was paying rent to the mechanic shop, to the owner of the mechanic business, and I never received my lease. So he's kept on saying, well, I'll give you your lease next month, and it just went on. And he reduced my space, so that's when I started looking around for another shop.
But just out of curiosity, who is painting the cars at your old address?
Oh, nobody.
Nobody?
Nobody.
Nobody's painting cars over there?
I was just on mechanic shop, I guess. He just stayed there.
Gotcha.
So you did you have a paint booth there? Spray
Yes,
paint?
I had a paint booth set up there on the Freedom location. I took it down, and I let the Monterey Bay Pollution know that I was taking it down and that I was interested in this location on West Beach. And when I do decide to put it up, then I would pay my fees or whatever I need to get done to install it. But when I moved in to the West Beach location, there's already a paint booth in the building behind me that I didn't know about. And it was already assembled, with the sprinkler system and permitted through the Monterey Bay Pollution.
You can go right to work in that, once you obtain that shop, you can go,
Yeah.
pretty much it's ready to work?
Ready
And how
to-
long would it take him to get that, he has to go through the process to get the permit for this new spray booth? How long will that take him?
Depending, if he's got to get the building and fire permit and the inspection, and they get inspected through Monterey Bay Air Pollution Control. So it could be, I don't know, a month, 2
So like
weeks.
right now, it's already licensed and permitted through another business. I'm just renting the space as I need it, you know?
Oh, I
He
see.
just, he
Yeah,
just
he
rents the
doesn't
booth
need- yeah.
when he needs to spray a car.
He's not out of business right now, is what I'm asking.
No, he doesn't need any separate permit to use that spray booth. I was
Which
just
he
talking
is,
about-
which you are
Yeah.
able to use then?
Yeah.
So you're in business?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to
And
make
when
sure
I
you're
do,
not-
and I got all the paperwork for the paint booth for that location, because I'm interested in purchasing the spray booth. For now, I'm just renting it, and when I do come up with like a good down payment, then I would take it apart, and then come up with the plans for the West Beach location, so I can install it again, and just pay whatever fees I need to pay through the Monterey Bay Pollution, which I already got all the forms for that.
Great. Any other questions for the applicant?
I just have one. How long have you been in business at the Beach Street location?
I've been there, I moved out. Actually been like 8 months.
And the last location, you got a special use permit?
Yes. And I was there for a year.
And I asked why it took so long to get a special use permit at this location?
Just money and the time.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
I just
Go ahead,
hope
Arun.
this location works out for you,
Yes.
and I hope that you keep the pollutants down and inside your garage.
Actually, this is the best location that I've found, and I'm getting tired of moving around from shop to shop, you know.
I hope you found a home.
Yeah, I think it's a great location. I wish we'd put all the audio industrial stuff in that area. That's great. Okay, so we're okay? Great. Thank you very much for that, for the presentation and answering all of our questions this evening. Thank you. Okay, we're going to bring this to the public hearing. Would any of your guests like to come before the podium and talk on the subject, where this is a chance for anyone to speak about this particular case? Okay, all right, we'll bring it back to the commission then for a motion and/or some discussion.
I move that we accept the staff's recommendation as
I'll second
presented
it.
to us.
Any discussion on the subject? We're okay? Great. Let's go ahead and have a roll call.
Chair, who seconded that?
Aurelio.
Okay, thank you. Corley,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Cammer,
Yes.
Rivera,
Yes?
Sarmiento,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Dana.
Yes. Motion passes. Congratulations and good luck in your business over on West Beach. Let's go to the 6.0, report of the secretary.
Thank you, Chair Dana. We were anticipating in February having the second part of the TUT project coming forward. There's been some issues with their redesign, so it's going to take a little bit more time before it gets brought forward to meet the ag setback issues. Kind of what's holding things back a little bit.
What is that?
The TUT hotel project. You approved the front, the gas station and the drive-through Starbucks, and that was back a couple of months ago, but we're still struggling a little bit with the ag buffer issue. We thought we had a solution, but we're still working on it. So we do not anticipate having a February meeting at this time because the only thing we had scheduled was that and the discussion about economic development and then the TUT project. So we probably will be continuing it till March. So if that's okay with everybody, not having a February meeting is what we're proposing. So
Actually, that's even better because I won't be here
Yeah.
for that meeting, so I won't miss anything.
And we lose a free dinner, though.
Anyway, we will, again, try to have it scheduled early in March, and so that we have the economic discussion and the actual election, and then moving on to the agenda, which we hope we'll have the TUTS on by that time. So,
I have a question.
yes.
And this is for information. I recall when we approved the propane tank at the ranch mill, correct?
Yes.
I haven't seen no tank.
There's become some fire issues associated with it.
I was like, the only tank I seen was the one that gets to the building. I said, that's kind of new, but I don't think
Yeah,
that's
no,
the tank
it
we approved.
ended up not being able to be approved on a fire issue. So,
okay.
yeah, so that, when the final things came through, it wasn't allowed.
Okay, yeah, because when I seen that other tank against the building, I said, we didn't approve that. That's in the air. Like, that's not.
Yeah,
even
no,
good.
that was not allowed. But he's doing okay with his other, he's got a Type 41 license and selling beer and wine on site. So, you know, he's doing okay.
What about the other housing over off, was it Harkin Slough?
Harkin Slough, that's the second TUT project, and they're going to be submitting building permits shortly. So that one, as soon as the rain stops, that one will get going.
Another question perhaps for staff. The 6 homes along Pennsylvania, which have been in completed construction 5-6 years ago?
I think 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, those are basically in receivership.
Elder passed away
and
years ago.
They're waiting for the economy to recover and enough to sell them. I think they're getting close, but again, it's in private receivership hands. We don't have anything to do with it.
My understanding is they were, the market got so bad and they built those things that they held them for a long time. They didn't want to lose money on them. That's what I thought I heard.
Yeah, it was foreclosed. So, yeah, it was foreclosed. So it's under a different ownership, and they're still waiting for adequate market to put them back to sale, so.
They're actually gorgeous because I've seen them inside. They're complete. They have stainless steel appliances, everything. They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
I see, okay.
We need housing.
If I might take a moment, there is and I'm sorry I missed the commission announcements at the beginning of the meeting. This was a very prompt group today. There's an interesting event occurring this Friday up in Santa Cruz. They have been developing some more parts of the San Lorenzo River Walk. They're trying to make the river, and a number of us here in Watsonville would like to see similar kinds of improvements along the Pajaro River. We have a river also down here, but they're going to be inaugurating and dedicating a stretch of the walk adjacent to the Kaiser Permanente stadium, auditorium, whatever. And that's going to be this Friday evening, the 22nd, at 5:15, the San Lorenzo River Parkway phase number 2. But for any of you who may have an interest in the future use and development of our Pajaro River bank, this might be an opportunity to see what they're doing up in Santa Cruz. So I invite all of you to today, or you can go online. There is an article in today's Sentinel under the coastlines section, which is usually the second page of the local news, that talks about this event. Again, Friday evening, about 5:15, adjacent to the Kaiser Permanente. What do they call it? The Kaiser Permanente Arena, excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm not au courant about all these things, what they're called. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dobie. Any other comments before we close?
I had one question about the hotel project that's going in by Granite Rock on Technology Drive, on the by the frontage road.
Yeah.
What's the Timeline on that.
They have building permits in, and so they're still waiting on some agreements with city council on a tax sharing agreement for TOT to help defer some of the impact fee costs. But that should be coming shortly to council for that. But they're pretty well ready to go.
You know when construction will start?
When they get their
Soon. Whenever the
their
paperwork is
funding,
done.
et cetera. So, shortly, it's hard for people with the rain as it currently is to get into any construction project. So you probably won't see it until April, May.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Keith, that's it for you?
That's
Okay,
it.
Let's close the meeting and thank you.